to textiles, to chemicals, to pharmaceuticals, and many other. Well, today we'll be discussing from crystals to chemicals, the salt derivatives, and value additions. We have an eminent list of industrialists, leaders, speakers, all those who have joined us over here, and they will be sharing their experiences and their insights with us. As we officially now begin the session, may I now request the team to please play the AV.
ઇતિહાસ સાક્ષી છે. ગુજરાતની ભૂમિના એક ચપટી મીઠાએ આખા અંગ્રેજ
टीवी पर नहीं आता, टीवी पे नहीं आ रहा है.
સામ્રાજ્યના પાયા હલાવી નાખ્યા હતા. ઇતિહાસ સાક્ષી છે. ગુજરાતની ભૂમિના એક ચપટી મીઠાએ આખા અંગ્રેજ સામ્રાજ્યના પાયા હલાવી નાખ્યા હતા. અને આજે એ જ મીઠું નવા ભારતના નિર્માણનો પાયો બની રહ્યું છે. સફેદ સોનું પકવતી આ ધરતી આજે દેશની મીઠાની રાજધાની તરીકે ઓળખાય છે. આ છે ગુજરાતની ભૂમિ, સૌરાષ્ટ્ર અને કચ્છની એ તપતી ભૂમિ, જ્યાં પ્રકૃતિના આશીર્વાદ અને માનવીનો અદમ્ય પરિશ્રમ ભેગા મળે છે ત્યારે જન્મે છે આત્મનિર્ભર ભારતનું સફેદ સોનું.
आज भारत 2047 तक विकसित होने के लिए पूरी शक्ति से जुटा है और विकसित भारत का आधार आत्मनिर्भर भारत है.
યશસ્વી વડાપ્રધાન શ્રી નરેન્દ્રભાઈ મોદીની વિઝનરી લીડરશિપ અને મુખ્યમંત્રી શ્રી ભૂપેન્દ્રભાઈ પટેલના વિકાસને સમર્પિત નેતૃત્વ હેઠળ આજે દેશમાં વપરાતા કુલ મીઠાનો 80% હિસ્સો એકલું આપણું ગુજરાત પકવે છે. કચ્છથી સુરેન્દ્રનગર અને ભાવનગરથી ભરૂચ સુધી 16 જિલ્લાઓના હજારો પરિવારો આજે આખા દેશના સ્વાદનું નિમિત્ત બની રહ્યા છે. આ મીઠું માત્ર રસોડા સુધી સીમિત નથી. આ ખારું અમૃત આજે આધુનિક ઉદ્યોગોની જીવાદોરી બન્યું છે. દવામાં, ડિટર્જન્ટમાં, કાપડ અને કેમિકલમાં ગુજરાતનું મીઠું આજે દેશની ઇકોનોમીને અવિરત ગતિ આપી રહ્યું છે. સાથે 100થી વધુ રિફાઇનરીઓ અને હાઈટેક વોશરીઝ સાથે ગુજરાત આજે વિશ્વના ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રીયલ નકશા પર ચમકી રહ્યું છે. મીઠાની રાજધાનીના નિર્માતા એટલે ગુજરાતના 40,000થી પણ વધુ અગરિયા પરિવારો, જેમણે દેશને સ્વાદ આપ્યો. તે અગરિયા પરિવારનું જીવન સ્વાદિષ્ટ બનાવવું એ રાજ્ય સરકારનો સંકલ્પ છે. એટલે છેલ્લા 10 વર્ષમાં સરકાર દ્વારા 200 કરોડ રૂપિયાથી વધુની સહાય અગરિયાઓના સર્વાંગી ઉત્થાન માટે ફાળવવામાં આવી છે. સોલર પંપ સબસિડી યોજના હેઠળ 4800થી વધુ અગરિયા પરિવારોને 115 કરોડ રૂપિયાથી વધુની આર્થિક સહાય મળી છે. એટલે ઉત્પાદન ખર્ચ ઘટ્યો, સુવિધાઓ વધી અને આત્મસન્માન વધ્યું. આ છે માનવ કલ્યાણ સાથે ઔદ્યોગિક પ્રગતિનું ગુજરાત મોડલ. જે મીઠું ક્યારેક આઝાદીનું પ્રતીક હતું, આજે એ જ મીઠું વોકલ ફોર લોકલના મંત્રને વળગીને ગુજરાતને ગ્લોબલ હબ બનાવવા સજ્જ છે. વિકસિત ભારત એટ 2047 માટે ગુજરાતનું આ સફેદ સોનું દેશની તાકાત બનશે. સ્વદેશીના મંત્ર સાથે વિકસિત ભારત માટે વિકસિત ગુજરાત બનશે.
Thank you, everyone. On that note, we officially now begin this session over here. This was the AV representing the salt ecosystem of Gujarat and the transformation that has taken place from the salt production to the advanced chemical value chains, along with some statistics. As we now march ahead, I would like to take a moment and invite our first speaker to join us over here, a leader whose organization has played a pivotal role in strengthening India's chemical manufacturing ecosystem. Please put your hands together as we welcome over here Mr. Ashish K. Desai, the Director, Nirma Limited.
थैंक यू भूमिबेन। उपस्थित सारे मेरे इंडस्ट्री और सॉल्ट के मित्रों, आज हम लोग यहाँ पर एक बहुत अच्छा इनिशिएटिव गवर्नमेंट ऑफ गुजरात और CII की ओर से लिया गया है, जिसमें हम लोग सॉल्ट और सॉल्ट के इंडस्ट्रीज़ के ऊपर आज हम लोग बातचीत करेंगे। जैसे कि हमने अभी फिल्म में देखा कि वोकल से लोकल गुजरात कैसे सॉल्ट के अंदर देश की राजधानी बना है। हम लोग जानते हैं कि डेरिवेटिव्स जब सॉल्ट से, यानी क्यों क्रिस्टल से केमिकल, इसका एक उपनाम दिया गया है, क्योंकि सॉल्ट अभी सिर्फ क्रिस्टल नहीं रहा है, सॉल्ट अभी सिर्फ खाने के लिए काम में नहीं आ रहा है। सॉल्ट से भारत के और दुनिया के बहुत सारे केमिकल उद्योग उसके साथ जुड़े हुए हैं और उसकी वो जीवादोरी बन गया है। जैसे टोटल प्रोडक्शन इंडिया का जितना है उसमें से करीब करीब 35% ऑफ इंडस्ट्रियल सॉल्ट का उपयोग सिर्फ अल्कलीज इंडस्ट्रीज़ में हो जाता है। 35%, हाँ, बहुत बड़ी बात है। 35% ऑफ सॉल्ट इज़ यूज्ड इन ओनली इन अल्कलीज इंडस्ट्रीज़। और इसीलिए जब भी हम लोग सॉल्ट हम लोग भी बनाते हैं और केमिकल्स भी हम लोग बनाते हैं एज ए निरमा, तो जब भी हम लोग सॉल्ट मैन्युफैक्चरर्स के साथ बैठते हैं तो हम लोग बात करते हैं कि सॉल्ट के लिए अब, क्योंकि अल्कलीज इंडस्ट्रीज़ के अंदर इतना जब उसका यूज़ होता है और अदर इंडस्ट्री में भी इतना यूज़ होता है, तो आपको क्वालिटी के ऊपर उसका बहुत ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा। इंपोर्ट और एक्सपोर्ट के लिए जो भी उसकी असर आती है वो, और क्योंकि क्वालिटी से उसके प्रोडक्शन के ऊपर असर आती है, और अल्कली इंडस्ट्रीज़ तो उसी के ऊपर निर्भर है। आने वाले स्पीकर्स बताएंगे, लेकिन मैं ऊपर की बात करता हूँ। 24-25 का मैं अगर बात करता हूँ लास्ट ईयर का, तो कुल प्रोडक्शन 442 लाख मेट्रिक टन था इंडिया का। 420 लाख मेट्रिक टन इन इंडिया, जिसमें से 140 लाख टन सिर्फ अल्कली इंडस्ट्रीज़ ने यूज़ किया था। 140 मिलियन टन। गुजरात के अंदर 442 पूरे इंडिया का था, जिसमें से गुजरात के अंदर 380 लाख मेट्रिक टन बना, 380, जिसकी एवरेज आप परसेंटेज में निकालो तो दैट इज़ 85 to 86% ऑफ द टोटल वॉल्यूम। यानी आज जो बताया कि राजधानी है सॉल्ट इंडिया की, तो वो है। मुझे आज भी याद है नरेंद्र भाई साहब जब यहाँ पर CM थे और मनमोहन सिंह जब PM थे और एक फंक्शन में अहमदाबाद आए थे, तो उन्होंने उनको बताया था कि भारत का एक एक आदमी गुजरात का नमक खा के उसके लिए उसको ध्यान रखना है, क्योंकि आपने गुजरात का नमक खाया है। ये मुझे आज भी याद है। ये मैं 10 साल 15 साल पुरानी बात कर रहा हूँ। तो 85 to 86% सिर्फ गुजरात प्रोड्यूस करता है। बाकी के 7 स्टेट, टोटल 8 स्टेट में नमक पकता है, बाकी के 7 स्टेट में मिलके 14 से 15% बनता है। और सेक्टर वाइज अगर हम लोग उसका देखें कंजम्पशन, तो एडिबल का यूज़ है अबाउट 80 लाख टन, 80 लाख टन है। इंडस्ट्रियल यूज़ में यानी अल्कली और प्लस बाकी की इंडस्ट्री, फार्मा और बाकी सब मिला के अबाउट 151 लाख टन है। और एक्सपोर्ट हाईएस्ट है, 212 लाख टन एक्सपोर्ट होता है। तो एक्सपोर्ट में भी जो मैंने बताया ना कि क्वालिटी क्यों अब ज़रूरी है, सिर्फ हमने बना दिया और उससे क्वालिटी बन गई ऐसा नहीं है, क्वालिटी पर भी सॉल्ट मैन्युफैक्चरर्स को ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा। तो ये गुजरात और इंडिया सॉल्ट एज ए इंडस्ट्रियल फाउंडेशन की जब बात मैं करता हूँ, तो गुजरात एक हमेशा ऐसी भूमि रही है जहाँ पर उद्योग ने प्रकृति के साथ मिलकर काम किया है। और नमक उसका सबसे बड़ा उदाहरण है, जिसने प्रकृति के साथ में मिलकर एक बहुत बड़ा उदाहरण पूरे विश्व को दिया है। गुजरात के अंदर 1600 किलोमीटर की कोस्टलाइन है। गुजरात के अंदर पूरे कच्छ से, जो फिल्म में भी बताया था कि कच्छ से लेकर लिटिल कच्छ, सुरेंद्रनगर, मोरबी, मालिया, भावनगर से लेकर भरूच, सूरत तक का नमक अपना पकता है, क्योंकि इंडिया का सबसे बड़ा कोस्टलाइन हमारे पास है। और कुदरत ने, जो प्रकृति की मैं बात कर रहा हूँ, कुदरत ने हमें नेचर भी उस तरह से दिया है कि हमारे वहाँ अच्छा सॉल्ट पक सकता है। साइमल्टेनियसली, क्योंकि सॉल्ट है, कोस्टलाइन है, तो पोर्ट्स हमारे वहाँ बने हैं और केमिकल क्लस्टर बने हैं। यानी गवर्नमेंट ऑफ गुजरात का जो विजन पहले से रहा है, तो केमिकल क्लस्टर्स बने हैं। हम जानते हैं कि सोडा ऐश आगे आएगा, सोडा ऐश के सारे प्लांट गुजरात में ही है। अल्कली के हाईएस्ट प्रोडक्शन गुजरात के अंदर है। तो उसकी वजह क्या है? क्योंकि केमिकल क्लस्टर्स बने हैं, साथ में पोर्ट है, साथ में सॉल्ट है। तो तीनों का मिला के एक इतना बढ़िया एक समन्वय बनता है कि जिसके हिसाब से ये एक दोनों का, अल्कली इंडस्ट्री और सॉल्ट और अल्कली इंडस्ट्री एक दूसरे का हाथ थाम के साथ में चल रहे हैं। बेस्ट प्रैक्टिस सॉल्ट के लिए अगर मैं कहना चाहूँ तो ब्राइन मैनेजमेंट बहुत ज़रूरी है। डाउनस्ट्रीम केमिकल यूनिट्स हमें साथ में करने पड़ेंगे, स्पेशली इंटीग्रेटेड यूनिट के ऊपर हमें ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा, जिससे कि लॉजिस्टिक हमारा रिड्यूस हो जाए, क्योंकि सॉल्ट की वैल्यू कम है, लॉजिस्टिक की वैल्यू ज़्यादा है। आज जितनी प्रोडक्ट उसमें से बनती है, तो प्रोडक्ट से ज़्यादा लॉजिस्टिक की कीमत है। तो लॉजिस्टिक को अगर हम लोग ध्यान में रखेंगे तो शायद हम लोग ज़्यादा अच्छा काम कर पाएंगे। और जो पहले बताया कि क्वालिटी के लिए हमें इसका ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा। सॉल्ट का उपयोग कहाँ कहाँ पर होता है? जो डेरिवेटिव सॉल्ट में से बनते हैं, तो सोडा ऐश, कॉस्टिक सोडा, सोडियम बाइकार्बोनेट, क्लोरीन डेरिवेटिव्स, मैग्नीशियम कंपाउंड और ब्रोमीन, ये सब डेरिवेटिव्स में सॉल्ट का उपयोग होता है। और ये जो डेरिवेटिव्स बनते हैं सॉल्ट में से, उसका उपयोग कहाँ पर होता है? यानी चेन देखिए आप, कितनी लंबी चेन है। सॉल्ट से ये डेरिवेटिव्स एक रॉ मटेरियल हो गया, रॉ मटेरियल से प्रोडक्ट बनी, तो वो प्रोडक्ट का उपयोग किस में होता है? तो फार्मास्यूटिकल, ग्लास, टेक्सटाइल, वाटर ट्रीटमेंट, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, बहुत सारे ऐसे है कि जिसके अंदर इसका उपयोग होता है, जिसका बेस सॉल्ट है। मैं पहले बात करूंगा कॉस्टिक सोडा की और उसके क्लोरीन के डेरिवेटिव्स की। ये एक बेसिक मैंने इंडस्ट्री इंडिकेटर्स दिए हैं। हमारी टोटल इंस्टॉल कैपेसिटी 64 लाख मिलियन टन की है कॉस्टिक सोडा की और क्लोरीन की। 64 में से हम प्रोडक्शन अभी करते हैं करीब 50 लाख मैट्रिक टन का प्रोडक्शन करते हैं। यानी कैपेसिटी यूटिलाइजेशन आप देखो तो 78% के आसपास है। डोमेस्टिक डिमांड जो अभी है वो अबाउट 46 लाख मैट्रिक टन की लोकल डिमांड है, डोमेस्टिक डिमांड है। करीब 5.5 से 6 लाख टन एक्सपोर्ट अपन होता है, और इंपोर्ट, फिर भी इंपोर्ट हमारे पास करीब 1.5 लाख टन इंपोर्ट होता है। और गुजरात इंडिया के अंदर अबाउट 60% आपका कॉस्टिक सोडा और क्लोरीन डेरिवेटिव, 60% गुजरात का हाथ है, जिसके अंदर क्लोरीन और अपना कॉस्टिक सोडा बनता है। बेस्ट प्रैक्टिस कॉस्टिक सोडा के लिए क्या है कि जो आज जितने भी नए कॉस्टिक सोडा के प्लांट लगते हैं या नए एक्सपांशंस आते हैं, तो मेम्ब्रेन सेल टेक्नोलॉजी होती है जो 100% एनर्जी एफिशिएंट है और लो मर्क्यूरी फुटप्रिंट उसकी है, मिनिमम मर्क्यूरी फुटप्रिंट है। अब तो करीब करीब ज़ीरो हो गई है, नो मर्क्यूरी फुटप्रिंट है। इंटीग्रेटेड क्लोरीन यूटिलाइजेशन, यानी कॉस्टिक जब भी बनता है और अगर आपने इंटरनल उसका यूज़ नहीं किया, इंटीग्रेटेड क्लोरीन का यूज़ नहीं किया, तो एक वो इशू हो जाता है कि क्लोरीन का आप क्या करोगे, क्योंकि क्लोरीन को आप छोड़ नहीं सकते। तो क्लोरीन के लिए इंटीग्रेटेड क्लोरीन यूटिलाइजेशन चाहिए, जो पीपीए, पीवीसी, क्लोरोमीथेन, ये सब उससे बनने वाले डेरिवेटिव्स या रॉ मटेरियल है। हाइड्रोजन रिकवरी और फ्यूल का यूज़ ये बेस्ट प्रैक्टिस में आता है, और ज़ीरो लिक्विड डिस्चार्ज सिस्टम और कंटिन्यूस इमिशन मॉनिटरिंग। कंटिन्यूस इमिशन, अब तो जो लोग इसके बिजनेस में, जिसके प्लांट है, वो जानते हैं कि सीपीसीबी और जीपीसीबी के साथ में आपका लाइव उसका ये रीडिंग जाता है। तो मॉनिटरिंग हमारे लिए बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है। और कई बार अगर आपका प्लस माइनस थोड़ा भी होता है तो जिसका नंबर दिया है उसके मोबाइल पर दार एक साथ એટલા બધા મેસેજ ડિપાર્ટમેન્ટમાં થયા આવે ને છતાં જો તમે ના સુધારો, अगर फिर भी आपने चेंज नहीं किया तो क्लोजर नोटिस 100% आएगी। तो हमें उसका भी ध्यान रखना है साथ में। तो गुजरात लीड्स एज ए हब फॉर कॉस्टिक एंड क्लोरीन बेस्ड स्पेशली केमिकल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग। तो गुजरात कॉस्टिक सोडा के लिए तो हब है, 60% का उसका कंट्रीब्यूशन है। अब सोडा ऐश की मैं बात करता हूँ। सोडा ऐश 95% का उसका है गुजरात का हिस्सा, यस 95% हिस्सा है। की स्टेटिस्टिक्स में 45 लाख मेट्रिक टन है, प्रोडक्शन करीब 37 लाख है, कैपेसिटी यूटिलाइजेशन 84% है। तो ये सब कुछ है। स्ट्रॉन्ग केस मैं ये जो कह रहा हूँ, यानी स्ट्रॉन्ग केस है, क्योंकि टाइम बहुत कम है, स्ट्रॉन्ग केस है सॉल्ट मैन्युफैक्चरर्स के लिए। अच्छा प्रोडक्शन कीजिए, क्वालिटी प्रोडक्शन कीजिए, जितना हो सके उतना ज़्यादा कैसे हम लोग सॉल्ट को बना सकते हैं उसके ऊपर ध्यान दीजिए। बीटन की आप कितना उसको मैक्सिमम यूज़ कर सकते हो, कितना आप बचा सकते हो, उसके ऊपर जाइए। ये बेसिक इसके ऊपर मैंने दिया है क्योंकि टाइम चिट्ठी आ गई है। तो बैकवर्ड इंटीग्रेशन, यानी मैं गर्व के साथ कह सकता हूँ कि इंडिया का सबसे पहला बैकवर्ड इंटीग्रेशन वाला कोई प्लांट था तो वो निरमा का था, कि जहाँ पर 30,000 एकड़ का सॉल्ट वर्क के साथ में सोडा ऐश प्लांट टोटल इंटीग्रेटेड, कहीं बाहर से कुछ नहीं लाना है। लेकिन जब हमने एक्सपांशन किया, आज हम लोग 1200 टन से 4000 टन पर जाने की कोशिश, 3400 हो गया, 4000 कर रहे हैं, तो अब सॉल्ट हमें बाहर से खरीदना पड़ता है। लेकिन उसमें क्वालिटी और क्वालिटी ये एक ही चीज़ हमेशा इसमें आती है। ये सोडियम बाइकार्बोनेट, मैग्नीशियम कंपाउंड और ब्रोमीन के डेरिवेटिव्स की यहाँ मैंने बात की है। सबके अंदर मैं सीधी लास्ट स्लाइड पर आ जाता हूँ। ये देखिए गुजरात केमिकल इंडस्ट्री का ओवरव्यू मैंने यहाँ पर दिया है। ये ओवरव्यू मैंने इसलिए दिया है कि आपको समझ में आए कि कॉस्टिक सोडा 60% है, एक्सपांशन हमारे पास एक्सपोर्ट का सरप्लस है, सोडा ऐश हमारे पास हम डोमिनेंट करते हैं, गुजरात डोमिनेंट करता है, 95% है। इम्पोर्टेंट फिर भी इम्पोर्ट डिपेंडेंट, हमारे पास इम्पोर्ट आता है, हम लड़ रहे हैं अभी गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया के साथ में कि आप एंटी डंपिंग डालो। चाइना की कैपेसिटी अपनी इंडिया की टोटल सोडा ऐश की कैपेसिटी का 5% अगर चाइना यहाँ डाल देगा, तो मैं निरमा का सोडा ऐश डिटर्जेंट मेरे खुद के डिटर्जेंट में यूज़ करने के बजाय अगर मार्केट में मुझे डिटर्जेंट बेचना है तो चाइना का सोडा ऐश लेना पड़ेगा। इसीलिए हम लोग पीछे है कि एंटी डंपिंग लगना ही चाहिए यूएसए के ऊपर और चाइना के ऊपर, जिससे कि यहाँ के अपने उद्योग जो हम लोग मेक इन इंडिया की बात कर रहे हैं वो हम लोग कर पाए। सोडियम बाइकार्बोनेट मेजर शेयर है, हाई ग्रोथ है, एवरेज ईयर टू ईयर आप ईयर ऑन ईयर देखो तो 19 से 20% का उसका ग्रोथ है। मैग्नीशियम कंपाउंड कॉन्सनट्रेटेड है, लिमिटेड, बहुत कम प्लेयर्स है, लेकिन उसके अंदर भी बहुत कुछ हम लोग कर सकते हैं। और ब्रोमीन जो कोस्टल एरिया जहाँ पर है और जहाँ कोस्ट के साथ जुड़े हुए सॉल्ट वर्क है, वहाँ पर आप ब्रोमीन के लिए आप कर सकते हैं। प्रोडक्शन का बहुत बड़ा स्कोप है। और लास्ट क्रॉस कटिंग बेस्ट प्रैक्टिस की यहाँ पर जब हम लोग बात करते हैं तो बैकवर्ड इंटीग्रेशन विद सॉल्ट एंड ब्राइन सोर्स, क्लस्टर बेस्ड डेवलपमेंट इन कोस्टल एरिया, एनर्जी एफिशिएंट एंड रिन्यूएबल होना चाहिए, ज़ीरो लिक्विड डिस्चार्ज एंड ईएसजी कॉम्प्लायंस 100% होना चाहिए। ऑटोमेशन, स्काडा एंड इंडस्ट्री 4.0 के अंदर हमें जाना ही पड़ेगा। एक्सपोर्ट ओरिएंटेड प्रोडक्ट स्पेशलाइजेशन के अंदर हमें देखना पड़ेगा। तो एंड में मैं इतना कहूँगा See, salt and chemical industries are deeply conscious that coastal sustainability is non-negotiable. Negotiation है ही नहीं उसमें, non-negotiable है. Salt production is solar-driven, seasonal, and largely non-consumptive. The modern chemical plants operate with strict environment safeguard. बहुत strict environment safeguard है. With balanced harmony and regulatory framework, industry can further invest advanced technology, higher value addition, skilled employment and global competitiveness अगर लेकर हम लोग चलेंगे तो ही हम लोग सर्वाइव कर पाएंगे. ये मैं कह रहा हूँ, तो ही हम लोग सर्वाइव कर पाएंगे. बाकी सॉल्ट के लिए भी बाहर की दुनिया तैयार बैठी है भेजने के लिए. भले लॉजिस्टिक महंगा पड़े, लेकिन आपका बंद करवा के वो यहाँ भेज सकते हैं. इसीलिए ये जो 4 चीज़ मैंने बोली, उसके ऊपर अगर हम दोनों यानी केमिकल इंडस्ट्री और सॉल्ट इंडस्ट्री दोनों मिलकर अगर काम करते हैं तो मैं मानता हूँ कि क्रिस्टल से केमिकल की जो बात कर रहे हैं वो 100% पक्की होगी. थैंक यू वेरी मच. थैंक यू भूमि.
Thank you so much, Mr. Desai, for sharing that how both the industries can come together and work together and grow together. We now march ahead, and I would like to invite our next speaker to please join us. We have with us the Director of Bhavnagar Salts and Industrial Works Private Limited, Mr. Chetan Kamdar. He represents a strong legacy of entrepreneurship rooted in Gujarat's salt heartland, and we are truly honored with his presence today over here.
Thank you so much, the organizers, for inviting me for this Vibrant Gujarat Regional Summit. Friends, speakers, government officials, maybe there are students. Good afternoon to everyone. I've been given 10 minutes, and so I've reduced my presentation from about 21 slides or 26 slides to about 11 slides. My efficient friend did that efficient job in the morning and did that, and so hopefully what I'm going to try saying or showing you today is some of the very recent important data and some of the very recent important development. Just one line about our own company. My company is Bhavnagar Salt and Industrial Works Private Limited. It was established in 1943. We are spread over 5,626 acres, and area of utilization is almost 100%. We are 100% dependent on sea brine. And on a normal season, which we have not seen for last 6 to 7 years, our regular production would have been, and we have done it for quite a long time, about 400,000 tons a year. But since 2018 onwards, we have seen drastic climate change, and I think that every salt manufacturer or somebody who is connected to the salt is aware of it, and we are facing big challenges for the same. Some of the very important salt export data. This is the 5-year trend. Somewhere in about 9.8 million tons in 2020-21, we have reached to 238 million tons last year, 24-25. One of the big exporter is sitting in this room and is going to share more data. In terms of value wise, if I put this 23 million tons, salt industry is earning a revenue of about $700 million to India in terms of dollar revenue. Yeah, major exports who imported our salt. So I've just put last 2 years data, full data, and current data. So China is our biggest buyer, and China is our biggest buyer. Second is South Korea. China is 60%, South Korea is 14%, and that is also very important that They've been doing this for last couple of years, at least 5 to 6, 7 years. But should we be so dependent on one country for our exports? Coming to marine chemicals, yes, we do a little bit of magnesium, we do a little bit of calcium recovery, but currently the major drive is the bromine. And bromine has been driving the growth of the salt industry as well. I put some of the major bromine producing country on the left, and then some of the installed capacity, the bromine manufacturing installed capacity in India. Israel leading, US is the second, Jordan is third. We are still growing. A lot of companies, Agrocell, Archean, Satyesh, Nirma, Tata, Devsalt, and a lot of others are coming with their increased bromine capacity, which is also a very big revenue earner as a value addition as far as the salt and salt value addition is concerned. This should have been the earlier slide. What is the price trend month-wise? Only the direct exporters, or if there are any buyers, this is more relevant to them. But this is very, very seasonal. Once in a while, something happening in China, some floods happening in China, prices increasing, something goes wrong in Australia. It's more weather-wise than more of the natural disaster or natural factors than really anything happening with the industry itself. A lot of new development and movement, a lot of marine chemicals, a lot of development in Run of Kutch, various domestic shipping route. As Ashish Bhai was saying, that logistics is so important. Most of the time, at a distant logistic is more expensive than the product itself. And so what have we been doing for that? There are a lot of new movements. Entire South India now is being catered by Kutch, which was not happening. Originally, it was being catered by Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh. Now it is in the bulk movement going from Kutch to the southern India. There has been very, very special movement from Kutch to Bhavnagar. Nirma is a buyer, and because of very heavy rains in Bhavnagar region for last about 6 to 7 years, production has gone down. Nirma's consumption has gone up, and so they have shipped salt. About 3 years back, it was for the first time they shipped the salt from Kandla to Bhavnagar port, which had never happened before. Also, there were shipment from Kutch to Gujarat heavy chemical plants, which was also very new, from Kutch to Tata chemical plant, which was also very rare and new. Rail movement in open wagon has also made a big difference. Originally, it was only allowed for the bag salt. So we used to bag in 50 kg, a lot of labor. You have to put it into BCN wagon, those who are aware of the railway wagons and railway specification. Now we are able to load salt like coal or like iron ore. It's loose, and so we just have to put all our salt into the railway yard or the railway siding, and we load it into the wagons with our Hitachis and loaders and all that, and it happens so quick, and it has reduced a lot of manpower, and it has reduced a lot of waste of energy, and it is straight away reaching in 4,200 tons or 4,500 tons parcel to the destination railway station. What has changed over the years? In year 2000, if I talk, Raidu Saab can correct me if I'm wrong, we used to have shipment size between 27,000, 30, 35,000 back in 2000. Now we load anything between 55,000 is the smallest economical vessel, and we load up to 85,000 tons also. Railway movement earlier, it used to be 40 wagons, 2,000 tons, 2,400 tons. Now we load to 4,200 tons. Earlier, 6-wheel truckloads. Every industry made enough changes so that they can adapt bigger vessels and bigger parcel size, which has made the salt movement very efficient. What has gone wrong with the salt industry? Why the salt industry was in Gujarat? Because we had a lot of sunny days, less rain, huge evaporation, yield per acre was very good, the number of production days were very high, but something has really gone wrong with the weather. The rain, which used to be about 150 mm in Kutch and about 400 mm in Bhavnagar. Kutch this year, it rained 1100 mm. And in Bhavnagar, it rained about 980 mm. So it has all gone wrong. Number of sunny days gone down, rainy days gone up. Evaporation with the higher humidity, it has gone down. And that is why the yield per acre in a salt industry has substantially gone down and resulting into a better price, but not really still a better price because the production and the price does not match. We would have been still happy with a lower price but a higher production. So rain pattern pre-monsoon and post-monsoon. This year, if I am talking about, the first day of the rain was 2nd of May and the last day of the rain was 7th of November. So we had 6 months of rain. Salt industry would have a very difficult time with the rain pattern like this. Winter days have also changed and salt season earlier was 210 to 240 days. After 2018 onwards, it has really gone down to, like this year, it's going to be hardly 120 to about 150 days, which has substantially reduced the salt production. What has also changed is Gujarat used to have maybe 1 or 2 cyclones in 25 years. If I talk about 2000 onwards, we already received 2 major cyclones. Taute was a very, very largely hit in South Gujarat, Bhavnagar, Mahua, up to Amreli and Sutrapada area. And then we had Biparjoy, which very badly affected the Kutch region. And that has also substantially made loss to the salt industry. Environmental impact, I've only listed here the small negative impact, but salt is the most environmental friendly industry because we don't consume any raw material, we don't discharge anything, we only use the solar energy. And so I think, and if you talk about the birds and the migratory birds and all that, it's a phenomenal biodiversity. So salt is one of the most environmental friendly industry. The only small negative impact at some point of time, mangrove loss or livelihood or waterlogging or habitat loss. But the biodiversity is one of the strongest positive side of it. I think with that I would end my presentation, and when the opening remarks with the lady was that we produce 75% of total India's requirement or the total production, then the video said 80%. I had written 85%, but then Ashish Bhai's figure were very correct that we are today 86% of total India's production, which is, I think, a great achievement, and we all should be proud about ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kamdar, for that, and I hope as and when every speaker keeps coming in, the percentage keeps increasing like that. On that note, we now march ahead, and I would like to invite our next speaker. We have with us Mr. Vivek Somani joining us over here, the director of Dev Group of Companies, Dev Salt Private Limited, and I request you, sir, to please take it forward. And a humble request to every speaker who's joining us, 10 minutes is allotted, and I would request you to please adhere to the time limit. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. And yes, it feels good to see this kind of setup. I get reminded of my MBA and engineering days. And thanks to Marwadi University, the days is special because I'm Marwadi as well. So, okay, do let me know whenever, just 2 minutes before. And in the interest of time, I will not repeat what everybody has already said because there's no point. And I will try linking more towards, we all know what needs to be done, but why we are not able to do it. And when we are talking about vibrant Gujarat, or when we are talking about Viksit Bharat, what is the reason that this particular industry is here and we are talking about it. Okay, this is one image which is very close to my heart, not because I know anything about it, but it took me 1 hour to prepare it by taking some 9 pictures and trying to correlate and see to it that how it moves from crystals to chemicals. And this thing is so powerful. When I first read it, it felt like, boss, what are we talking about? What was rightfully captured by Ashish ji and Chetan bhai, that it is not only the basic material what you hold in hand, and how it covers or what kind of impact it can, that is what we'll see. Sorry. Okay. What are the 4 pillars of Viksit Bharat 2047? Anybody? Yuva. No, 4 pillars of Viksit Bharat. Yuva, Mahila, Garib, and Annadata. And below that, we have 6 pillars, which talks about global manufacturing hub, getting India's glory to distant locations, tourism, and then there are 5 themes, right? If you look at this structure, the very 4 core pillars, when you talk about Yuva, Garib, or Mahila, all 3 can get impacted with salt industry. It provides job at the grassroots level. We all have heard about how Saurashtra has been a very difficult terrain. Just think about how the dynamics have changed, and what was pointed out by Ashish ji, that from there to the kind of integrated industry that has been set up, it has completely changed the dynamics. So this is where I feel that salt industry can play its own small and special role to see to it that we are one of the contributors in terms of the dreams or the aspirations that has been set. $35 trillion by 2047 is not an easy task. So every small speck of opportunity that comes from various sectors needs to be focused upon. Okay, talking about best practices. So going in the order, see, salt is something wherein there is no set template. What matters is that every location where you are manufacturing salt is very different. You will have to understand the soil conditions there. You will have to look at the evaporation pattern, rainfall patterns, seepage losses, and the altitude and the terrain. So right in the beginning, whenever anybody gets the lease, or when, we are always in the hurry of starting the construction of salt ponds. But what needs to be done is go through that area properly, see to it that you are doing it right in the very first step. Second, many big players, many big salt works you will see, they are so huge that probably, forget the promoter, even the general manager might not be covering each portion of that land once in a week at least, right? Every portion of land that is kept empty is actually a revenue leakage. Pumping requirements, while we look at the production, but with veterans like Raidu Saab and Chetan Bhai, they will be knowing that it is actually the backward calculation of pumping from where everything needs to start, and not looking at the production. Because production is a byproduct of how you have pumped and how you have maintained it. Similarly, density enhancement. Okay, I'll use the word, वो जो चलता है होता है ना कि इधर का ब्राइन को उधर मिक्स कर दिया और डेंसिटी को हमने 21 कर दिया. That does not work because the entire chemistry of that water changes when you try to mix it. And this is where we have to have that patience game, wherein we will, it should be a resolve that you will not try to mix one brine from one one reservoir or condenser to another. Similarly, try maintaining desirable depth in reservoir and condensers, because it helps to see to it that one, you have the required brine whenever it is required. And secondly, Artemia, a lot of people would be aware of. So it is a biological, I will say baby shrimp or algae, which takes care of calcium sulfate, and it reduces the calcium component of the salt. Deep charging, all the salt manufacturers are aware about. Charging density, I will not talk about it. I'll move to the next slide now. Some of the pictures these birds have been there at our salt works. So these are live pictures what we have been able to take. And obviously zero carbon footprint. if required, it can be negative carbon footprint as well, because in our saltworks itself, we are running completely on solar, whether it is pumping. And from our bromine plant, what we have also established a turbine to take care of the spare heat loss or enthalpy which is there in the boiler. That powers 50% of our power requirement for bromine. So promoter will always be happy ki paisa to bacha, but this is, I think, which is very sustainable. So we do need to look at it. Okay, this again interests me. I don't know why is it buzzing so much. Okay. When we are talking about diversification, right? All of us know that diversification can be in the form of the product. It can be in the form of the market. It can be in the form of mergers and acquisitions. And vertical backward integration is also possible, right? But instead of just talking about diversification, I believe what is required more is, one, the organization should know their inherent strengths. Everybody cannot be everywhere. So you should know what suits you. Again, I'm not giving a lecture, everybody can decide, but then this is the platform where I thought I'll share my views. Secondly, if you'll think about salt, obviously the classic Ansoff matrix, what you look at, that whether you want to move from existing products to new products, so very much possible. Instead of doing the lower quality volume-based salt production, you can move towards higher quality, which is more niche. Second, when you are looking at markets, there are two ways. One is you start targeting the market that, like Raidu Saab is he knows it, so we have started supplying it to South Korea, and thanks to sir, it is a moment of glory for India as well. And he himself said that, giving it to LG is like the door of the South Korea. So that is great. Which means somewhere the new geography and the moving on to the higher segment is actually closely linked. Are we ready for getting into that new geography, right? Second, and then the last corner where you are talking about new product and you are talking about new geography is probably getting into the downstream of salt as a raw material, which is, you can look at it two ways. You look at salt and then do the downstream, and you take care of bittern, what Ashish sir was talking about, that you take care of the bittern and see to it what all can happen. And there's plenty of scope towards it. Essentially, okay, so if I'm talking so much, what is it that Dev Salt is doing on this particular aspect? Somewhere we are into every aspect of the diversification that I spoke about, and come 10 years, and I'm hopefully will be there for 10 years. So we will be into many more strategies what we have spoken about. We have already started, pardon, okay, 2 minutes, fine. Pardon my arrogance if I say that we are probably the first player in the Indian market who have decided to create a saltworks outside of India as a private player in Middle East. And this is going to create waves, and it has started creating waves because people are surprised by how we were able to get the white and the right quality of the salt. We got it tested at CSM CRI also and other labs as well. It was as fine as what we produce at Dev Salt. And Dev Salt has been a consistent supplier to almost all the chloralkali manufacturers, right? Second, we have stopped looking at ourselves, and I am not saying my company is great. What I am sharing is that if all of us start thinking in this particular angle, let's not look salt as salt. We should look at ourselves as people who are managing high quantity of brine. The moment we start looking at ourselves like that, then that role of vibrant Gujarat and Viksit Bharat is where we can be. If you look at brine management, then there is salt, then there is potassium, then there is lithium, then there is rubidium, and you name it. There are several ways of going about it. But effort kisi ko dalna padega. From our side, we have started doing it. Hopefully, others will also start following or partnering with us. Leveraging technology. This is going to happen, and all of us know about it, right? Just look at this last slide, this particular picture. 10 minutes I spent in terms of giving the right prompt. It gave me an image which I felt like copywriting for myself. It looks as a big strategy, but this is something what AI, what data analytics, and it is going to be there. you can very well visualize a day where you will not be collecting the brine sample. A robot will go, it will collect the brine sample, and from remote sensing, it will also share with you the results. And whether you want to increase the pumping rate or not, that an AI will tell you that because the concentration is like this, now the pumping rate needs to be increased. Even that can be automated. A lot of such things are already happening. It is not from thin air. There are already technologies in place where the movement of the harvester is synced with the movement of the tipper. I mean, if this kind of collaboration can happen between the machines, it is high time that we start looking at this possibility. And the problem is not the knowledge. The problem is what you see at the center, the cultural changes which is required at the society level and at the corporate level. Firstly, the management needs to believe that it makes sense to move towards automation, and then the ground staff will follow. Similarly, directional drilling when it comes to salt being taken out from mines, that is already happening. MVR, ME, membrane filtration, we all are aware about that. The quality of salt or the specifications that we receive from some of the consumers nowadays, it gets us by surprise that how the hell can you even give that kind of specification? But then somebody is supplying it, so it is possible. And solar pumps, we all know about. Automatic loaders, which is happening somewhere in run. Like that, from mechanization, which in itself was great for industry, now is the time to move towards automation and start leveraging the vast data that we already have in our organizations. So these are my closing words. And do we have time? No? Okay. So it will be an injustice if I do not talk about my company. Just 30 seconds. So Mr. Jhala is our promoter, and our company has been at the forefront in terms of CSR or employee centricity. And when we talk about technical consulting, this is what I wanted to highlight. We have been invited by Portugal, by Indonesia, by Oman and a couple of GCC countries to talk about how we can change the salt scenario there. Why it is important? Because they are interested and they know the potential of it, which is what we have to realize, that how salt can be a money spinner, a community spinner. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was Mr. Somani for us over here. Now we move ahead and invite our next speaker to join us. We have with us Mr. Jay Parwar. I welcome him to join us, the Deputy General Manager at Agrocell Industries Private Limited over here, and he shall be sharing his thoughts on the practices, the best practices we have for salt derivatives.
Yeah, very good afternoon, respected dignitaries and industry leaders. As we gather here at this prestigious SALT conference during Vibrant Gujarat, a platform that celebrates innovation, industry, sustainability and economic growth. So today I am honored to speak on a topic that touches every household, industry and economy. So I would like to have the brief overview of my company initially just. So Agrocell is a diversified integrated business group with strong presence in bromine derivatives, agri inputs, and now we have also entered into the business of salt. Last couple of years we have started production of salt as we are. Yeah. So basically, this Agrocell company is having the decades of operational experience and focus on value additions. Agrocell play a significant role in Indian salt and marine chemical businesses. So this is our location of our sites, Dhodo, Khavda, and near Bhavnagar, and now one more unit have been started near Moraiya with of our agrochemicals. These are our basically strategic vertical business, specialty chemicals, bromine divisions at Dhodo and Khavda, and agricultural inputs at Dhodo and Moraiya. Salt is also, as I said Dhodo, raw salt, industrial and wash salt is being produced there. These are the some pictures of our salt washing plants at Dhodo. Now we come to our topic as a basically Indian salt and marine chemical ore. As we know that India is already, I would say that some of the points will be repeated because so India is the third largest producer in the world after China and USA. Now Gujarat, as we said, the percentage is that in between the 75 8 to 87, and measure basically due to the coastal alpine, especially in Kutch and Gujarat, and also already then this production is considering 75% production feed demand, especially in the chloroalkali sector, as said by sirs. So marine chemicals basically obtained from the bittern, the concentrated brine left after the salt crystallization includes. Basically these includes bromine and derivatives, magnesium chloride and calcium chlorides, potash and other value-added salts. If we go in further detail, if what produced from the salt and brine. From salt, edible salts, it can be further classified in terms of the iodized salts, vacuum evaporated salts, and refined free flow salts. Salts have different, but in terms of the industrial salts, the chloroalkali grades of like textile and dyeing, oil drilling, and de-icing. From brine, basically NaCl solution, chloroalkali derivatives, as we have discussed earlier, caustic soda, chlorine, hydrogen, soda ash, and now another segment is like that magnesium derivatives. Magnesium derivatives are less produced here presently, but it has a huge potential present, so that magnesium chlorides, magnesium oxides, magnesium hydroxides, and magnesium sulfates are produced. In terms of the other production like that, calcium derivatives and potassium, that is the another subject which were earlier we are facing the shortage, and we were importing the potash from the outside country. Now it has been derived that from India we are also producing the potassium sulfate cyanides in our, and with this concentrated sea brine. And the major thing is that bromine and bromides. So as earlier points also discussed with the senior sir, that salt quality and its role in derivative industries. So if we say largely importance of the salt quality, but is very important in terms of the role of salt quality on different salt derivatives production, yield and energy efficiencies. Because if it depends totally on the quality of raw salt, that how we process, how we optimize the process, and then produce the ultimately product purity with the output of the derivatives. Other derivatives, raw materials includes the raw salts, brine, limestones, dolomites, sea waters, and also these are the basically quality of raw material impacts final products. It's a brief about that soda ash manufacturing process, role of salt and brine quality. Basic raw material is the raw salt. Then we do carbonation, filtration, calcination during the preparation of brine preparation, then ammoniation, and then produce the soda ash. But the important part is that how we optimize the process, and from ore to soda ash. And soda ash efficiency is basically decided at the salt yard, not in the carbonation towers, because again it's a matter of quality of raw materials. And in process materials, how we can improve further by using our energy efficient calciners, heat recovery systems, dust and emission control, and waste minimization. Another derivative, as we discussed, caustic soda process, chloroalkali process, is brine electrolysis. Basic raw material is again the NaCl with the to produce the caustic soda. Best practices include in this the high purity brine preparation. If we have the salt of good quality, we can have the optimum utilization and then such as membrane cell uses. Chlorine handling as per the safety standards, because the chlorine is prepared in this process, so we need to have the to control the best practices, how can we handle the chlorine, and work on the zero liquid discharge process. Similarly, the magnesium compounds products are magnesium chlorides, magnesium sulfates, magnesium oxides. So in these, the best practices are sustainable brine extraction, water recycling, energy efficient kilns, and product quality monitoring. These are the process control parts. Now, if we have to, as a overall best practices considering in terms of the environmental, health, and safety to control the overall process. Environmental is that we need to control the air pollution. We need to put into our system air pollution control system, ETPs plants, and then the system for the solid waste reutilization and compliance with the regulations to follow the compliances. In terms of the health and safety, the following the SOPs. Chlorine regular safety trainings of all our employees, ISOs, and strict compliance. In terms of best practices, in terms of the energy optimization, automation, as earlier said, waste heat recovery system is to be implemented in that, and to consume the VFD put in motors to reduce the power costing, and integration with the renewable energy sources, and again recycling with the energy audits. Automation and monitoring is also a part to how we can best energy optimization and automation part. For that, we use SCADA and DCS systems in our chemical process plants, online analyzers, predictive maintenance, and data-driven locations. Overall, the best practices circular economy approach is we use the process of testing of our raw materials in process checks, final product certification, and continuous improvements. Basically, what the challenges presently are we are facing in the energy cost and how to handle the waste handling. So the solution is already we need to implement as per our technological upgrades and process optimizations. Conclusion is that the best practices improves our efficiency, sustainability, safety and environment conditions also improves with that, and continuous improvement is the key. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing the best practices to improve the efficiency and the how we can have a safety environment. As we now move forward,
Sir, it's not opening.
but it's moving.
Yeah, downloaded. Nee, now it's good.
Sorry. Now we move forward and we have our next speaker with us over here, Mr. Jayesh Purohit, AGM Tata Chemicals. Thank you so much for joining us, one of the most respected industrial groups that we are aware about. So.
Good afternoon, everyone. Directly, I'm going to jump to slides because I'm having a much more slides to explain. So, like every work or a holy work, we start with Ganesh Stuti. In Tata, we start with the safety, right? So, Tata is aiming for a zero harm to a people, asset, and an environment through 2 numbers of principles and 10 numbers of golden rules of safety. Little short about Tata Chemicals, how it has got established. In 1927, Mr. Kapil Ram Vakil has started his own venture, that is the Tata Salt, that Okha Salt Works, and then after we have acquired it in 1939, right? Mithapur has named on that particularly product name, means in a Gujarati salt is called mithu, right? So that way, somewhere in 1929, that product name, based on that product name, we had gone for naming of that particular area as a Mithapur, right? At a Mithapur, what we do is Samudra Manthan, right? We take sea water, we prepare a brine, and we prepare a salt. Out of that, we got a gypsum that we are utilizing in a cement plant, then soda ash, bicarb, and caustic. Last product is that bromine, and measure is a 14.9 metric ton of 14.9 million metric tons of vacuum evaporated salt. So we just speak about a process of a vacuum evaporated salt. It's a different salt. Three category of the salt. One is solar salt, refined salt, and vacuum evaporated salt. In vacuum evaporated salt, we take a natural brine. We do a preheating of that brine. Then we do forced evaporation in evaporators and crystallizers. Out of a crystallizer, we get around a 15% of solids. That solids been further thickened to 50% at a decantation, and then we do a solid liquid separation through a continuous centrifugation. Then we do, still after that centrifugation, it is having around 4% of a moisture. That moisture has been removed in continuous drying, and salt is been packed in 50 kg bags, 1.4 ton of jumbo. That way we do salt manufacturing. Silent feature of this plant is having a high, it's a multiple effect evaporation system. So in multiple effect evaporation, along with the salt, what we get is the water, right? Technology is our own technology. Then for a food safety, it is certified with 22 FSSC 22,000 certification, halal certification, and someone has said diversity. So around 80% of shift engineers in the plant are a woman, and they run the plant. Brief history about Tata Salt. In fact, Tata Chemicals has started producing or utilizing multiple effect evaporation system somewhere in 1940s. It is a later stage of 1940. We had acquired one Aishwarya's technology, and we had gone for a multiple effect evaporation scheme. In 1960 and 70, we had more revamped that plant and produce more water for a solar salt, for that soda ash process. We had gone for a capacity expansion at 1960 and 70. Again in 1982, we had established a 650 ton per day plant in 1982, which is having a drying and all that facilities. So in 1983, government has approached Tata for doing a fortification of a salt with iodine, and on a basis of WHO recommendation, and the Tata Salt's journey has started. Tata Salt production initiated with 5,500 metric ton per annum, and right now this plant is having a capacity of around 15 lakh metric ton per annum. This plant is having a day record of 5056 metric ton per day. Continuously, this plant working with 4,500 ton per day. Now I talk about the solar salt. So in solar salt also, what we do is we take a seawater, we allow it for a solar evaporation, and then we got a salt, right? That's a simple process over there. Mithapur is having overall 36,000 acres of land. Out of that, 22,000 acres of condenser area and around 4,500 acres of that crystallizer area. It's a first plant where we can say that brine is pumped through a different location. If you see that the salt works are located very far away in a geographical areas, right? Basically, that salt works also been established, having said that it is that area particularly is having very less rainfall, right? It's an open and flat land over there. So that way we have established that salt works over there. As sir has told, it's not showing. No. Animation. No, up, no, upper. No. Upper, happy. It's not moving. Graph is not showing.
स्लाइड पे ही
मेरा वैसा हो ही नहीं सकता ना वो एक वहाँ पे हाँ ना ये नहीं है मैडम ये नहीं है ये नहीं
सर यहाँ के दो स्लाइड्स खाली हैं
ऐसे नहीं हो सकता ना प्रेजेंटेशन होता है नहीं 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 ये नहीं है ये नहीं है ये सब कुछ अलग आ गया we have to see again can I take my laptop
सर you will have to plug it in
maybe you can explain
there are so many things to show right so no it's not yeah what that slide which is missed is regarding there also it is not showing the map of everything. Yeah, which slides which we have missed is this is a highway. Both the sides we have that salt works, right? And the slides which we have missed is circulation of brine, how it is happening. We have 3 pumping stations over here, and then brine comes from that pumping station, it moves to a forward circuit, and then it comes back in return circuit, right? Here what, in this slide what we have to show is, I want to show is that this is how a monsoon is impacting on a salt work. In one of the slides which we have missed is, we have, I have shown 25 years data showing, as sir has told, that season of rain, how it has impacted, means 100 days instead of 50 days. Previously it was 50 days average rainfall, and then it has moved to around 100 days, right? And that is I've shown in that area, and how it has rain around average of around 15 to 20 inch. Instead of that, that rain has gone far by 80 inch in last year, right? So that way it has impacted. I take time. Here are some improvements what we have done over there in Saltworks. We have introduced a circulation system, established pumping stations at various locations, and we had established circulations amongst the circuits. Because our saltworks is not as simple as other saltworks. We have to produce 4,500 ton per day salt, vacuum salt at a salt plant, right? So for that we have to provide almost we can say 25,000 meter cube per day brine to that plant. So we have to operate our condenser area in that way, in such a way that it can take a load of all that. These are also slides pertaining to circulations, how we have provided. here slides are. Madam, it's not working, huh? That we have seen, huh?
This is the one that
ऐसे नहीं होता ना मैडम. Yeah. So here are some of the good practices we are following at Tata Chemicals, using of a grain dye, then culture of Artemia, and installation of mist evaporation system, and that utilization of a soda ash waste for bund preparation and strengthening of a bunds, and a culture and inoculation of microorganisms in particularly crystallizers, which can give a better yield. Other technologies under considerations are silica nanoparticles, usage of a silica nanoparticle for increasing that particularly rate of evaporation. Then a double-sided wetted fabric usage, parabolic trough collector, and a rotating contacting device. I have so much to show over there. It's not showing. It's a strategy, how Tata has implemented these things through a statistical analysis. We have taken a kind of that LSS projects along with at Saltworks to improve the brine quality. Developed a mathematical model for a brine field operation. As I told us, my Saltworks is something difficult, and we have to follow intact and exit curve of a brine very closely. So for that, we have developed a mathematical model for that. Then we have gone for remote sensing and digitization of solar salt at a solar salt operation through. Along with ISRO, we have developed. We had gone for a geospatial study, and through a satellite image, we have tried to measure the concentration in each jar, so that we can get some idea of how the concentration is moving in jars. We have got around 99% efficiency out of that. Still, for us, it is very low figure for operating a plant in a continuous manner. For any drop of solid or any drop of a BOMI can decrease the production of a vacuum salt plant. Then digitization and automation of the salt, how we have carried out, that's also I had showcased. It was all that slides. That was regarding that how that remote sensing and all that. I had tried to show some value addition opportunity out of that, and this is how other derivatives which also we can make. And this is how continuous improvement journey at Tata Chemicals happens. The slides are not showing, otherwise there are so many things is there. It's showing over here, but it's not showing here. Yeah, this is a continuous improvement journey at Tata Chemicals Limited. As far as rightly said, we have to think about going for a digitization and automation in our field. Because our field is a kind of a field where we don't think of using such a kind of a technologies, but we need to go for all that things. This is Tata Chemicals has initiated with the Action 500, and presently we are working with the Delta project under the head of a cost focus, operational excellence, safety, health and environment excellence, and digitization and cutting edge, right? In a vacuum salt plant also what we did is like in salt plant, in vacuum salt plant also we have developed that automation in evaporator section by using our class 10 equation, we can say P is equal to H rho G. Based on that, we had developed a totally robust, means what we did is, if I had opened up that slide, then I can show all that things. But I'll explain. We have taken a 2 reference point. We have measured the differential pressure. We had a height. So based on that, we had calculated a density, and we have collected, we can say, around 30,000 numbers of data, and that LSS project has run for around 1 hour, or one hourly basis data we had taken, and almost about 30,000 data we had collected, and based on that we had analyzed that, and we had implemented that, particularly we can say that automation in evaporator section, and which has resulted in not even in reduction in that steam ratio at a plant, but which has used brine very efficiently, because out of what we are making salt at Tata Chemicals Limited, the maximum crunch of a brine we are utilizing in that salt plant only. So by doing that, so we are fulfilling our requirement of brine for a solar salt manufacturing. Thank you. And I'm sorry.
No, you explained very well.
Thank you so much. That was Mr. Purohit over here. We apologize for the small technical glitches. We now move ahead and invite our next speaker over here. We have with us Ms. Bhumi R. Andharia joining us over here, the Principal Scientist, Salt and Marine Chemicals Division, CSIR, CSM CRI, Bhavnagar. A leading expert in modern salt work design, AI-driven operations, and she will be talking about the sustainable and climate resilience that are defining the future of salt production.
Yeah, thank you for Government of Gujarat, Industries Commissionerate. Thank you for my director that he nominated me for coordinating with the Government of Gujarat for organizing this event, and with CII. Today my talk is on the sustainable and climate resilient salt production and recovery of the marine chemicals with the advanced technologies and processes at CSM CRI. So our vision of CSM CRI is to explore, harness and transform salt and marine resources from the sea water for good of the people of India. So these are the pillars we are working around the sea water related research. It's not only about the salt, it's about the marine chemicals, RO, membrane, solar, seaweed, microalgae, many things. So it was established in 1954. We are only research institute who are exclusively working on salt and marine chemicals. I am also focusing on the implementable research. So because when scientists work for 4-5 years, then it can come up to the level of the implementation. So majority I prefer the application based research. So I will just share those glimpse also. And we have SCSR University also. We are guiding the PhD students, and we have many industry and research projects. So these are the 4 pillars in salt and marine chemical. We are working on the salt, its yield quality, marine chemicals like all the recovery from the beaten and seawater, then extension activities like feasibilities and saline land exploration. Basic studies are very important, solubility and phase equilibria, we are working on that. So why modernization is required nowadays? Because the industry is facing a lot of issues due to the global warming. So climate is changing, and everybody are facing the issues. Who are recovering the marine chemicals, who are recovering the salt, both are having issues, right? And even small scale salt farmers have issues of the incomes and livelihood also. So those can address with this points like climate. The studies now require the studies and implement the cutting edge technologies and advance development of the advanced technologies in area of the salt. So climate, topography, tidal, soil, these are the major factors which are affecting our salt production. So I will share one. We have developed one model experimental salt works at CSM CRI, which is translational scan in 180 acres area to validate our lab scale technologies to the field level. So I will share, I will show you one 5-minute video of our C-STARS facility, and it was inaugurated by Secretary of DSIR, Department of Industrial Scientific Research. So I will share the 5-minute video.
Welcome to C-STARS, Bhavnagar, the world-class modern salt works of CSMCRI. Built on decades of scientific excellence, the Central Salt and Marine Chemicals Research Institute, CSMCRI facility is set to redefine the future of salt production.
It's okay.
Welcome to C-STARS, Bhavnagar, the world-class modern salt works of CSMCRI. Built on decades of scientific excellence, the Central Salt and Marine Chemicals Research Institute, CSMCRI.
It is okay. It is not so. Yeah. Okay. I have in a different folder. Yeah, you can plug. You can just on it that. Yes. It's a folder here, no? C has done folder here. 1 sec. Where is that folder? Where is that folder? You can on in that directly, no? Where is your folder? You open just your folder. Yeah. Yeah. You no.
Let me continue.
With this one, sister.
दिखा है ना?
You just play video.
यही है.
हाँ. बट आप बाहर से ही प्ले करते हैं.
I facility is set to redefine the future of salt production. The experimental salt field, once a largely unused stretch of land, was now being transformed into a modern, fully operational demonstration site. Throughout the process, careful monitoring was carried out, from regular site visits to on-ground tracking, ensuring that every phase of the project moved ahead with precision, purpose, and a commitment to excellence, paving the way for sustainable salt production.
Today we are talking about inauguration of a world-class modern experimental salt works in Bhavnagar. This is one of the very, very important milestone for this institute. This institute is CSIR Central Salt and Marine Chemicals Institute, which was founded in 1954 with an endeavor of self-reliance in salt.
From design to execution, the process begins with settling ponds and reservoirs, designed for smooth brine transition. Condensers that accelerates evaporation. The strengthened bunds use cost-effective, erosion-resistant material, seawater channels, and boundary bunds direct flow seamlessly, feeding into brine and bittern channels. While crystallizer zones demonstrate practical application of scientific advancements. Sustainable construction techniques like concrete salt pan beds minimize seepage. Each step of progress was carefully monitored, documented by field teams to ensure quality control. Smart rainwater discharge systems prevent the site from flooding. to keep the entire grid running smoothly, HT and LT electrical lines, along with transformers, power the operations round the clock. This scientific layout ensures optimized pans, controlled brine flow, silt-free reservoirs, and sustainable construction raise the standard of solar salt. CSMCRI team designs solar salt, works using softwares like AutoCAD, Mike, HECRES, GIS-based monitoring, and flood modeling, keeping the operation resilient in the face of climate change. And precision soil testing is conducted for better results.
The facility creation project is all about modern, world-class experimental salt farm developed in a scientific manner in 180 acres area. The main outcome and visibility of this project is to demonstrate the lab-scale technology on field.
This station is also a testing ground for integrating marine agriculture, specifically seaweed, microalgae plantations. The chloroalkali industry relies heavily on salt for its processes. The development of advanced salt works will significantly enhance the salt supply, boosting the industry's growth and making chloroalkali production more efficient and economically beneficial.
The aim of this salt works, which we have developed, is a model salt works, or you can say the salt works with latest technologies have been developed in CSIR, CSMCRI, and this will serve as a platform for demonstration of different technologies developed in CSIR, CSMCRI, and it will help in the growth of salt industry, which eventually help the growth of chloralkali industries, which are based on solar salt.
This modern salt farm will reduce the burden on salt workers by automating the manual racking process, traditionally done in extreme temperatures and saline water, minimizing health risks they face. From rural livelihoods of small manufacturer to industrial growth, this project's impact will pave the way for India to rise from the third to the top salt producer globally. The future of salt industry is here, and it starts in sea stars.
So this is actually the vision that here the processes can be validated in operational environment. As we know that when we have some process related to the 25 degree density saturated brine, it should be started from before 5 to 6 months before from the intake brine, right, in the seawater system. So that was we have tried to more focus on that. Okay, so this is one scientific way we have designed large scale salt works in for the intake brine chem in greater run of Kutch. So here the construction has majority completed, but they are having some bromine plant and that need to be use the debrominated brine for recovery of the salt here. So here the challenges I will tell that earlier in 2016 there was no flood inundation in this site. Nowadays it was inundation, so that was studied first. When we develop salt works after studying this all parameters, we do not have that issues related to the waterlogging and flood inundation, right? Even topography, and I will not tell in a short duration of time, but it is very important when we are having stretch of land, it should be studied first the parameters, and according to the climate it should be designed, right? So here topography and many things are the return channels we have designed. It's an energy efficient pumping system. So here is also one case of Tamil Nadu Salt Corporation. It's the largest salt works, but here in Gujarat we are blessed with the good climatic condition compared to the south portion of India, like Vaidaraman, Tamil Nadu. They have two salt monsoon seasons. So this design was assessed and provided the suggestions to increase the salt production, and we have increased salt production of 30% annual production by incorporating the 2 seasons of the monsoon. So this is for the Tata Chemicals that my friend Mr. Purohit has mentioned about the shape of the Tata Chemicals Charakla salt works. That was around like both the side community area, and the salt works is having very flooding situation. So to provided the designs, we have developed one Hackrest based hydrological model with the limited data. The challenge is that the limited data is available. We have developed the digital elevation models and provided the flood management plan. So what can be possible to reduce the flood for community and for the salt works. So that was given, and many such thing like increasing production by redesigning the crystallizer area. So it was traditional crystallizer area. So we have suggested some operational more efficient design and policy. This is one about the how this detailed feasibility was carried out. The parameters like brine, soil, topography. The challenges are the dilution of brine, seepage, many things. So that we have done for this Kambat region. So before doing this construction, when we go for the brine, ensure for the brine availability, then topography, energy efficiency, it will be more viable production. So per acre of salt production and techno-economical analysis of the project was submitted to the GRASIM. Then this is one sustainable green material we have developed. Here you can see that with the ordinary Portland cement, after 2.5 years of cycle, this is the exposure due to sulfate, highly sulfate chloride environment. And here is the sustainable concrete developed using the fly ash and other industrial waste, which is having very good hardness and top surface. So that was developed for the marine structure, and highly exclusively that was developed for the bed of the crystallizer, that's to prevent the seepage. But it now applicable to many other industrial applications. So that is we have validated this research, and we are going to implement in some saltworks also. So it reduces 79% of the seepage, and getting 34%, 34.7 megapascal compressive strength, which is required for the harvesting. So Australia and other countries, why they are harvesting in a automized manner? Because they have the strengthened beds, right? So it can efficiently use your crystallizer area. So we have done experiment on RO reject, means how salt production can be increased with the RO reject utilization in the salt field by 30 to 40%. So and we have developed one integrated systems with the chemical and mechanical and solar assisted interventions. This is much useful when it we have deployed this system in Tata Chemicals and GHCL for making more optimization in the scaling up part. So this is through dye assisted evaporation, then different design of mechanical turbulence and heat exchanging systems. Though when we tie up with the industry, we are going to scaling up. So this is also enhanced evaporation, overall 48% evaporation. So I will always, this quality is always the old topic, but it is always the evergreen topic, because quality should be maintained on the field. It is still it is a challenge for many salt works. So when we focus more on the quality, and we have means more awareness about the quality, we can achieve good market value salt production in this. So these are the some techniques and processes for iodide bromide removal, for pH based salt crystallization, so that we are also develop processes. So here for Gujarat, Rajasthan, Odisha, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, all have small salt works. This was for the educating them for the yield improvement and management of the brine in a with the quality aspect. So that was we are doing for small areas also, and big industry also can learn from that. Skill development programs we generally do offer for weekly program. Yeah. So yeah, this is climate change. So I'm in a 1 or 2 years maybe we have some results. Due to the global warming, the climate is changing, right? Cyclones and unpredicted rains and cloud bursts. So this is affected a salt industry. So now we need to think on that. So we are going to means more collaboration with the weather departments and IMDs and so that we have some prediction about the 10-year salt production. So that is we are focusing on. So you can see this example of Jafrabad, that in 21-22 Tauke has landed on same this thing. So it reduces the 44% of the salt production in Jafrabad GHCL site. So here Kutch also we can see that rainfall data has changed the complete scenario. Here is the challenge in the marine chemicals recovery and salt production also. Diluted brine. So this is the next 10 years we can, how using the mathematical model, how we can produce predict the region-wise salt production for the chloroalkali and soda ash industry, so that we can started the studies. So this is one socio-economic. When I am going to represent here Government of India, this is our sister like lab, and this Government of Gujarat is our part only. So I should promote that chloroalkali and soda ash industry should come forward to make the salt farmers marginal. As you see that in milk marketing federation, can we some investor or some industry can come forward for clustering the small scale salt units for one cooperative model, so that way they can invest them for the washery, centralized washery, which can give the good quality salt, and that generated waste brine can be directly used in the salt field. So it can increase salt production and reduces the expenses for the. So even by Mr. Kamdar has mentioned about by road. Can we focus more on some areas like Kutch and other central Gujarat for the railway tracking? So it will be cost effective transport, and that you can spend more on the areas upliftment and collective major co-federation model. So yeah, so washing operation related processes also we are promoting. So this is the marine chemicals recovery. We should also focus more on the nowadays salt is there, but we can focus on the magnesium, potassium chemicals, right? Bromine chemicals from waste butane, and not only waste butane, from seawater also. So here not only desalination reject, we have developed one process for pure NaCl brine solution with the chemical intervention, because we are challenging in the weather climate, right? So crystallization stage, the evaporation rate is very low. So can we remove that step, and some chemical intervention, can we produce a high NaCl content brine by recovering first the calcium, magnesium, potassium, and it will be solution which can be directly fit to the soda ash industry, right? So I will just mention, because marine chemicals also it was told by me that you also should mention that. So magnesium chemical, can we go ahead? We have with the NML, CSR NML Jamshedpur, we have developed in specialty chemical one process that how metal, magnesium metal can be recovered from magnesium chemicals, right? So that is on the testing. So that type of new value addition should come forward in the salt industry. So for this is a sulfate kyanite type sulfate of potash, and carnallite type chloride potassium chemical. So that also K2SO4 and KCl one can focus on, which already means producing salt and butane, right? So it will be integration, the process deployed in industry. So this is low sodium salt. We have process to how to produce low sodium salt in it in the salt field itself, because now many countries are coming forward that low sodium should be in the lower, because our blood pressures and other things can be managed with the low sodium, right? So that process in the we have developed one process. So double 45. This is when this iron means double 45 salt will come in the contact with the oxygen, it will having change in color. So here is the new structure, stable structure developed process by CSMCRI for iron and iodine related fortification. So this is Saloni. As you see that Siliconia halophytes are already grown in the winter season, right? And it will die in the summer season. So can we harvest that Siliconia for recovery of this Saloni salt. It's a vegetable salt with good, having low sodium salt, and very good for the diabetic and means blood pressure related patient, right? So strontium recovery, we should also focus on the less stress metal, but which is feasible. Like we are working on, this process is going on, process developed and validation is going on in the sea stars. So strontium recovery from the seawater, and it is feasible. So this is, we have Mars Mandapam unit where mass seaweed cultivation is going to happen, like steam, means from the seaweed, microalgae, nutraceuticals, then biostimulants, fertilizer based from Kappa ficus, different ulva, Kappa ficus, Glycerelia, different species of seaweed, how value addition can be done. So that can be integrate with the salt production industry. So this same seaweed and microalgae and halophyte plantation, right? So this is I'm visiting many countries, but this is recently I visited to Philippines, that they requires the edible salt production, right? Then assistance from the India. So we have signed MOU in this occasion. That we will help them to do collaborative research to increase their salt production in Philippines, because majority salt are imported by the Philippines. So these are the footprint of in the world's map for CSM CRI. Yeah, for India we are working with all the major industries and small scale areas also. So these are our collaborator and licensees and partners. Thank you. So with this platform, I will now the Indian salt industry and chloroalkali and soda ash industry should come forward with the modernized techniques. We are also started working on automation and AI based operation, but once we have some data and fruitful results, we will come and showcase that. So my just request is that industry should come forward to upliftment of the salt areas also, because I generally used to attend the meeting of Empowered Committee at Government of Gujarat Industries Commissionerate. I see that many problems they are facing, but the good investor and industry can come forward and ready to means purchase their salt in those areas. They can have some upliftment. Yeah, CSM CRI can come forward to make that collaboration. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much. That was Miss Bhumi over here for us. We now move ahead to our next speaker. I would like to invite on stage Mr. N.T. Raidu to please join us over here, the Managing Director of Rankers International Private Limited, and also a gold medalist mechanical engineer who has pioneered the salt refinement technologies in India. Welcome.
So good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon to everyone. And thank you for Vibrant Gujarat invited me to speak few minutes on this. I think many have covered. Ashish ji already covered Major, Chetan ji, and Somania, and Madam, especially from research development. They already covered all the salt feed. I'm a salt manufacturer, but I'm not a big manufacturer. But one thing I know, I spent about 30 years in my life in salt. Especially I have a lot of passion towards salt. Since I was asked to prepare some data, we prepared on short notice. My young director, Mr. Anuj prepared. Let me scroll down. Then I think I would like to share my experience with you. Because where salt ends, salt production, my journey starts. So let me share my journey, maybe useful for the trade. So let us go faster so that we'll come to our my experience, and a few questions, answers can be done there. I think let me start. Salt. Where the? Salt is actually a natural gift. Natural gift. It is a simple crystal, but it is a mother-based chemical sodium chloride. It's a panchatattva bolte hai. It's unlimited supply, like sea water, unlimited. Air is unlimited. Sun is unlimited source. Earth is, we have lucky to have 1600 kilometers coast, space is there. So we are very lucky. Gujarat lucky, and out of Gujarat, Saurashtra, Kutch is more lucky. So let us, then any auspicious will start with salt. And you know that independence also started with salt movement. The from colonial importer of 2 million tons in 47 journey started in India. Now it has become a largest exporter from India now. I think we are exporting today 20 million tons from 2 million import to 20 million. You see that now the growth. Today our production is, I think you all know, Sabla Bhi 42 millions. Actually 42 nahi is much more, but no, we declare 42 with 7-month production. If the weather permits, if the season gives full, I think we will cross 50 millions. Down the line, maybe another 3-4 years, I think we are going to add 10 more million from the GRK. I think let me introduce just 30 seconds about us. The Rankers actually started in 1993. Me and Mr. Chetana, we have a friend. We started this journey. In fact, we did not have salt. We thought, what we do? So let us take the major portion of the responsibility of logistics. So we took the responsibility of logistics and the quality control, because we don't simply buy. We travel, we associate with all the co-manufacturers, and everywhere we know right from the brain feed to deliver to the destination. We know all the problems and we try to sort out. We have a very major laboratory in our office. We do 24/7, 360 days sampling, and we know what is happening in every salt field and what are the challenges also. We try to sort out. Rankers is actually trendsetter for quality control, logistics, and how to handle salt. Because, one is production, sir. Production is one is importance. Handling the salt to the destination is also equally important. But a lot of contamination happening now. But what we do, we spend more time with the buyers. We understand what exactly they want. Once we know, then we come back and start working with the manufacturers. Of course, we also produce 78,000 tons. So we try to sort out all the issues and see that the quality is made. Like we have 6 washeries, 6 high-tech washeries. We developed 6 high washeries where we produce exactly what the buyer wants, like calcium, magnesium, sulfate, insoluble, moisture, and other impurities like ammonia, bromine, ferrous, iodine, because these are all very important for the factory, for all industry, a membrane cell. So, like how we entered the LG. When we entered LG refused to take from India as a because of it is not fitting into their industry. Then we told them, why can't we try? When Sojit was also trying the same from India, but when we tried, we requested them to buy a trial shipment. Then they tried, and ultimately it proved that Ranker's feed became a 100% direct feed to the plant. That's how they accepted the Indian salt as a major volume. Earlier, what they do, they used to mix 30% to Australian salt. Even today, we are global leaders in volume, but not in quality. I think we have to come to the quality also. It's only possible by reducing the volume or increasing the quality, which is possible. And whatever we leave the button, it goes for derivatives. Then let me see that. And of course, this is everybody knows it now. That China is produced 67, and China cannot produce anymore. That US 45 millions, India 42. It can go up to 60. That's my hope. And whereas China imports 50 millions, we 11 millions Indians. United States imports and that used for de-icing. And let us go for India also to export to USA. We tried 4 vessels to United States for de-icing salt. It was successful trade. Then what my appeal is, whatever we produce instead of this 40, the same salt can be utilized in India. Like last 3 years, we see that expansion of the caustic soda, almost 30% reduction in the caustic soda. So that I think we have to pay more attention on the expansion of the chemical industry with our own Indian salt, because India has a high capacity to support the home industry. We don't have to import. Another information I want to share with you. Today we think that we can export to many places, but other countries also now ready to export to India. They're also trying to India at $30 to India. That's a very surprising fact actually. So there is a threat also for us. Before they come, we should be ready with our quality. Let me see that. And I know that they already displayed this India drilling operation, drilling demand, agriculture demand, and food demand. This, let us go to this. I think last year 19-20 millions we exported. This year also I think we are meeting same, but we have a lot of challenges in the export now. One is volatile shipping freight because of the war, uncertainties, and weather situation in the Far East. So that's why I think we should pay more attention on the quality, less on the exports. Use the same salt for our chemical industry. And the second thing is we should always try our product to the high premium importers like Japan, Korea, Taiwan, rather than China. Because China we are throwing at a very lowest value. That of course Kutch is already explained this. Kutch is the luckiest, and Kutch has 70% of the Indian production. Kutch is producing, and can produce another 10 more million tons. We have two major ports, Kandla and Mundra, and Tuna also joining. And with this only we have some challenges in the Kandla port, like storage yards, and the road problem. Main problem in India is road, rail, and ship. Actually, with three modes. The approach roads are little bad. Because of the roads, I think we are losing sizable revenue for salt producers, like 150 to 200 rupees. If we can do that, maybe we can save large amount of money. Second thing is rail. I think introduction of Gati Shakti, maybe it can solve the lot of problems. Today we are all facing the rail movement by getting rails unclean wagons. It takes about 6 to 7 hours, which is a major challenge. Second, wayman's problem, because they're all weighed in the moving train. This gives a lot of variation. All receivers are getting a short landing, most of the receivers. So that has to be sorted out. Once these two sorted out, probably will be more competitive and will be more viable, and it gives a great support to the industry, our own industry. Then coastal movement, I think increasing day by day. I think maybe water transport is more cheaper than rail. We are catering, I think probably Tata, Nirma, and I think taking a lot of ships now. Then the chloralkali already explained that this growth is there. PVC is now growing. Our growth is increasing. China is reconsolidating. China is trying to control it, and maybe China plus they are going out of the country. They are trying to establish out. China is not expanding at all. India has a high scope to expand, and the growth is also very good. I think Atmanirbhar Bharat, India saw 30% reduction in caustic soda imports. Dahej is a major hub now. Dahej is more likely to take 4 million tons. But I think all salt manufacturers, my appeal is for all salt manufacturers, support with the uniform quality. The big problem is all the manufacturers are producing good quality, but the uniformity is not there. The uniformity is very important for direct feeding, because there is a lot of variation. Because of variation, they are changing the parameters. Industry is changing the parameters, and consumption is actually high in the costing. So it's only possible with the control of the brine at the salt field. That comes in, of course, best practice. I already shown it. Then India should be, of course, like already explained, instead of more salt to high purity salt. So then it becomes the scientific approach. this best practice, everybody knows it now. I don't have to tell any new thing. I'm not, but still no. Since I was asked to write down, I write down right from the layout, scientific layout, gradation, and study flow, single flow, and dynamic monitoring of the brain at all places. What actually rankers do for all salt fields. Every day we collect all the brain from all points and try to give a report to salt people. And charging is very important. Charging, deep charging, people say deep charging. Deep charging should be along with the sun intensity. Charging should be based on the calcium, magnesium, NaCl. And discharging also same. Then only you get a right product with least insoluble. Let me see. Of course, diversification, no, is very important. Diversification that everybody told it. I don't know to repeat it. Sustainability is there. Madam already told. And salt field information. And projection, I want to give a projection. Salt production takes by globally next years we take second position. I think we are already in second position, but officially they declare second position. Because I think second thing is we definitely go for produce high quality at par with the Australia, Mexico and Chile. And of course, value addition already online now. With the continued government support, I think we will reach the consumer at the most affordable prices. The salt industry becomes a more scientific and approach. That last road ahead now. I think focus main on the value, focus on the value products. Second is Gati Shakti, of course, on way now. So my request is the CSMR, I think in Bhavanagar, actually quite far from the Kutch hub. I think if the government helps us to provide us their extension or branch for the Kutch people, it will be more helpful for research R&D. I think my chairman also requested many times, but probably they will also put a request. This is very important for a day-to-day our doubts clarification and improve the quality, because someone has to be there, some R&D department there. Bhavanagar is too far from the Kutch. And normally for automation, I think for automation we need a stable. I mean, today we are in actually confusion whether the land, since the lands are not renewed. Whatever, I don't want to bring this issue now. Long-term contracts are there because unless we have a stable land, assured we cannot invest anything. We cannot seek any investment from the stakeholders. So the government should definitely intervene in this and support the automation and diversifications. Thank you very much. Anything questions you can ask me.
We are planning to take it after all.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Thank you so much for your presentation over here. And moving ahead, now we have our last speaker of the session joining us over here. I welcome Mr. Ankur Singh to please join us over here, the Vice President, TCM Shriram Limited.
So I don't need my mic, Stella. Thank you. Sometime being the last presenter is a blessing and curse both. Curse that everybody is fed up, and blessing because all the esteemed speakers spoken so nicely that maybe 40% or 50% of my presentation is covered. So the job is pretty easy. What I'll try to do, a lot of you have spoken about the industry data, numbers, the mega trend. I'll just try to add couple of global development which is happening, which may not seem pretty okay now, but will impact in future. And pardon me, I'll try to skip slides quite quickly and go to the main point. If you're looking at the overall salt ecosystem, we're actually looking at some of the emerging trend where we are saying high purity salt for electronic. The battery demand is picking up big way. I was in China, and part of the high purity salt, they have recently started importing a lot of good quality salt from Australia, and part of that salt is actually getting into the battery application. Second thing which our industry have to be a little careful about, the bromine as a chemical. As you know, European chemical industry is under huge pressure, And therefore, bromine as an application, especially on the flame retardant one, is now towards the declining trend. So therefore, the idea and the need is, instead of exporting the semi-finished product, this is the right time to partner with European principals and start making these chemicals in India. All of you know the big names who are into this business. The cost of manufacturing of these chemicals in Europe is not picking up. We were there in Europe and we spoke to a lot of big guys, and the spec chem market is vacating. I think the time has come for the industry to start adding the bromine value add in India, and especially companies who are from salt to chemical ecosystem. That's a very good opportunity to look at, because Europe gradually will create a pressure, and going forward there is something called Rotterdam Convention, and a lot of these flame retardant based products are actually going into that convention. Maybe 5 years, 7 years down the line, you will see restriction on those products. I'll try to skip some of these things, get back to my moot point, the chlor-alkali industry. Now, I understand the salt export is growing up, but there is a need in domestic industry. I mean, let's look at the Reliance and Adani, which will expand the capacity. While right now it looks very positive sign, the export is growing up, as Mr. Raido just explained that the export to China is the least value-added export to the overall kitty. Now, China is expanding caustic like anything. Last year alone, they have added 2.5 million ton capacity. From 48.5, they reached to caustic soda roughly 52 million. What it does, when India will become 11 million, 7.5, 7.2 close to, it would be much more than that, because we are assuming that barring Reliance Adani, the domestic ones will not expand. That's a false notion. Definitely people will add value, debottleneck and add something. India doesn't have such a huge chlor-alkali domestic market. So right now, from 500 KT, roughly close to 2 million tons has to be exported to vacate space in a domestic market for an average 85% utilization. This is where the bulk chemical should be. Now, to do this, India has to compete in a global market. Now, US taking care of Latin America, Europe is going down in caustic soda, Middle East is moving to Australia, Japan is moving to Australia, so it means India has to compete with China in caustic soda export in a global market. Now, their energy cost is picking up, so it means our salt, which goes to them, is actually helps them to compete with us in the global market, and their capex is fairly subsidized. So going forward, by 2030, if industry does not evacuate at least 1.5 million to 2 million tons of caustic, it will have challenge in utilization. It will create a pressure on domestic salt consumption as well. The another important point, similar story with the soda picture. While this is much more comfortable industry compared to the caustic soda, because we are not exposed to the global export as of now, but there would be a significant demand as we picking up. Another point which I wanted to make over here is pressure on getting into solar. Now, the worry which we have that with caustic soda and soda's expansion, the fresh salt leases may not be allowed. I mean, with the government level, what we've been talking, that they are not a huge fan of doing this, because in industrial growth parity, the yield and the financial contribution to the exchequer from salt is perhaps not at the peak priority for the state government, or of course the central government as well. However, the rural ecosystem which is attached to the salt industry compels the state government to look into it. That would be one of the, therefore the pressure should be on working on the yield. There is a discussion in Australia in all 3 states to expand salt production. There is a demand from Japan, Taiwan for high purity salt to be used directly from Australia. And I was there in an Australian business summit in India, in Delhi. They are talking about, because it's a clean industry for them, so they can expand it, create a local employment. So far they have been little reserved, because they believe that there was some environmental group that's too much of salt production may impact the flora and fauna of the Australian coast, and Australian are too environment friendly. But that will change significantly. Not only that, there are a lot of coastal economies across the world who have not explored salt as an ecosystem are looking at. So going forward, the yield, or the focus on the yield, going to be very critical aspect so far as the salt industry is concerned. I think the last point which I wanted to make is the fragment nature of this industry. And not only this, the chloralkali itself. Globally, if you look at a chloralkali industry, if you go to US, 4 producers account for 90% of the production. You go to China, close to 10 producers account for more than 70% of the production at a 50 million ton. In India, it's fairly scattered. And same thing is visible in the salt industry as well. Consolidation, bare minimum brings the economy of scale which you can compete not only over here, but in the global market as well. So therefore, while it's not just in consolidation by adding a smaller piece of land, but you would see a lot of acquisition activity will happen in this, because anybody, the thumb of rule says that as soon as you cross 700 to 800 KT in your soda ash or caustic soda capacity, that's where the pressure goes into be backward integrated. You will not be completely dependent on a spot-based sale. I think lastly, what I wanted to look at is basically a stable policy intervention. The problem with this industry is that our producers are working very hard. I mean, I was so happy to see the amount of effort and modernization is going through. But whether it's lease renewal, whether it's a district level intervention, whether it's a government policy support, even an approval, you still need 7 department approval for your renewals. And 3 of them have actually zero interest into how salt works. But it's been going on for more than 20-25 years, so nobody wants to touch it. The expectation from this industry is way too much to take care of the overall ecosystem. But the policy intervention from the government has been very slow. I hope it changes, because suddenly you have a lot of major players coming into this industry, good or bad, I don't know. But you have to change the way you look at the policy intervention. Expectation from industry is bring money, but when it's come to approval and renewal, is the same policy which is going on for at least, last I remember, at least for 15 years. So I think these are the fundamental points which I'm looking at. The way I see that, we as a producer of chemical cannot survive without feedstock. But we want feedstock to improve, yield, and stay in the country so that we compete better to the global market. So that's all for my presentation, and thank you so much for your patience.
Thank you so much. And with that, we conclude the session today. And for vote of thanks, I would request Shri Dharmendra Singh Jadeja sir to please join us over here, the Joint Commissioner, Industries Commissioner, Salt and Textile Branch, to say a few words of gratitude to everybody.
I would like to thank all speakers, CSMCRI and CII, as well as all participants who have joined for this deep insight technical session. जब हमने ये टेक्निकल सेशन के बारे में जब सोचना शुरू किया था, टाइम थोड़ा कम था, बट विद द हेल्प ऑफ एस्टीम ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस ऑफ द स्पीकर्स, हमने ये डिसाइड किया कि डेफिनेटली हम ये सेशन करेंगे, और बहुत ही अच्छा टेक्निकल सेशन रहा. वन ऑफ द बेस्ट टेक्निकल सेशन ऑफ वाइब्रेंट रीजनल गुजरात कॉन्फ्रेंस राजकोट एंड सौराष्ट्र, क्योंकि ये जो स्पीकर्स एंड जो पार्टिसिपेंट्स है वो फ्रॉम द एक्चुअल ग्राउंड रियलिटी वाले, जो एक्चुअली काम कर रहे हैं, जो ग्राउंड पे सॉल्ट इंडस्ट्री के बारे में जानते हैं, उन लोगों का प्रेजेंटेशन था. सो ये बहुत ही अच्छा सेशन रहा. सो ऑन द बिहाफ ऑफ स्टेट गवर्नमेंट from Industries Commissioner Office, I would like to thank all participants, all speakers and all organizations who have participated in this technical session. Thank you all. Thank you. जो सजेशन मिले हैं कि पॉलिसी इंटरवेंशन में थोड़ा इम्प्रूवमेंट की रिक्वायरमेंट्स है. सो ऑन द बिहाफ ऑफ स्टेट गवर्नमेंट एंड इंडस्ट्रीज कमिश्नर, वी आर डेफिनेटली पॉजिटिव फॉर इम्प्रूवमेंट. जैसे कल पीएम सर ने भी उनकी स्पीच में बोला था कि रिफॉर्म्स ज़रूरी है और बहुत जल्दी ज़रूरी है. सो वी आर डूइंग द सेम प्रोसेस. स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के ओर से भी मैं आपको एश्योरेंस देता हूँ
के पॉजिटिव इस बारे में सोचा जा रहा है एंड डेफिनेटली वी विल डू बेटर इन फ्यूचर. थैंक यू. हाँ, નહીં નહીં, આપની વાત સાચી છે. એટલે બિલકુલ જી જી યસ 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 નહીં, આપની શ્યોર શ્યોર. આ બાબતે ઓલરેડી ગવર્મેન્ટમાં પ્રોસેસ ચાલી રહી છે અને બહુ જલ્દી આનું સોલ્યુશન પણ આવી જશે. થેન્ક યુ.
I request all our speakers to come on the stage for a group picture.